Today I'm going to talk about bacteria. Bacteria are everywhere. You can see bacteria in your clothes. You can find bacteria in your furniture, on your fingertips, all over your skin. We're totally surrounded by bacteria, and it's natural to study them or at least to be aware of them. And I think it's really important today because the antibiotic resistance is increasing quickly. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention reported that each year in the United States, about 2 million people infected by bacteria that are resistant to antibiotic, and 23,000 people die because of the bacterial infections. That's why I want to talk about bacteria today, and I want to teach you about the bacteria. I have researched this topic on credible sources such as Center for Disease Control and Prevention, American College of Physicians, American Center for Microbiology, and U.S. National Library of Medicine. Additionally, I have taken course on microbiology and biology, which gave me a basic understanding of these microorganisms. I think learning about this bacteria is helpful and helps us to make more sound decisions in our life. I have learned a lot through the research, and I would like to share this information to other people. Today, my speech will be broken down in three parts. In the first part, I will touch some basics on bacteria. In the second part, I will discuss its antibiotic resistant properties. And the last part, I'll give you some tips what we can do to prevent us from the getting infections, or what we can do to diminish the antibiotic resistant properties. First, let's learn what bacteria are. Bacteria are small living organisms. Then they are neither plants nor animals. They don't have any nucleus or organelles, but they do reproduce, and they do reproduce by asexual form of reproduction, which doesn't involve male or female. There are a lot of bacteria that are healthy and harmless, but a lot of bacteria that can be deadly. And per National Institute of Medicine, according to National Institute of Medicine, 99% of bacteria are healthy and harmless, but the other 1% of bacteria can be deadly. And that can be deadly in causing the diseases such as tuberculosis, pneumonia, dysentery, cholera. And I want to talk about some bacterial infection that can cause disease and make us sick, such as Streptococcus, Staphylococcus E. coli. Streptococcus has two groups of the infections, group A and group B. Group A can cause the skin infection, scarlet fever, or strep throat. Strep throat is a sore throat with the whitish spot on the tonsils, and scarlet fever is the illness which followed by the strep throat. Also, the skin infection called impetigo. Another kind of the strep infection is group B. Group B can cause meningitis and skin infection in newborn. Also, adults can get strep B infection because, especially if they're elderly or they do have some kind of health problem. Also, strep B can cause urinary tract infection and also pneumonia in adults. Staphylococcus infection can cause skin infection. The most common symptom is skin infection. And there is a Staphylococcus infection, which is called MRSA, is very resistant to a certain kind of antibiotic, which makes the infection harder to treat. And also there is another kind, bacterial infection, is E. coli. E. coli is very harmless bacteria which live in our intestine, and they help us to digest the food. However, some of them can cause illness. The symptoms of E. coli are watery, bloody diarrhea, abdominal cramping, nausea, vomiting, fever. And per National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, the source says that most cases of E. coli can be treated with no treatment and get better within the 5 to 10 days. It's really important to know such information about bacterial infections and also know about the drug resistance. Now I'm going to talk about the bacteria that can cause drug resistance. And the common cause of drug resistance is actually due to our fault. That means when we go to see a doctor, we don't have to ask for antibiotic if our doctor says we don't need them, because the antibiotic can treat bacteria, not the viral infection. So when we get sick and we have some simple cold, we don't have to ask for antibiotic. Another thing, we have to finish the full course of antibiotic. You shouldn't skip the dose, and you definitely not have to save the dose for next time. And also another problem when the physician prescribes antibiotic for viral infection, not for bacteria, it also causes the bacteria become stronger, and the bacteria regenerate, multiply, and giving the rise to a new generation which are more resistant. It's really important to know about the drug resistance because there is ways we can prevent. We can do something to fix our fault. We can do something simple steps which prevents the infection control, which is maintain adequate hygiene. And washing your hands for 15 seconds with the soap can prevent you from the infection diseases. And also vaccination approved by the National Institute of National Institute of Allergy and Infection Diseases that vaccination is very helpful and strengthens our immune system and prevents us from the bacterial infections. Also, we have to be a better patient. We have to follow the instruction which doctor gives, and we have to finish the full course of antibiotic. And also, I would say that to prevent us from E. coli infection, we have to cook our food very well and wash the fruits and vegetables before we eat and cook. And that helps us from getting infections. Let's review what we learned today. We learned about the bacteria, what bacteria were. We learned about the drug resistance, and also we learned about what we can do to prevent drug resistance and what we can do to prevent ourselves from the getting infections. Knowing this information is really important just to make better choice in our health. And I think we have to understand that the common cause of existing of drug resistance is due to our fault. And we have to realize that there are a lot of things we can do to fix this for our fault. And hopefully together we can beat the bacteria. Thank you.